Hi, welcome back to the channel. Today with Glumpo.
Hello.
So today we're going to be talking about those weird fears you had growing up. That when you grew up, you kind of it's not really anything to be afraid of. You know, just weird fears.
Everyone had them. Some of them are dumber than others or make less sense, but everyone had those fears that were just nonsensical.
Yeah, like I know when I was little, very little, and I used to go in the pool and swim. I know it's a fear a lot of people had. It was the creepy. I was so scared it was gonna eat my toes.
I was just deathly afraid of water as a whole, but I think that's a little less strange.
I loved swimming. I still do. Unfortunately, don't have a pool anymore, but I love swimming. I just hated the creepy crawler. I don't know if people call it something else overseas, but like
It's the thing that
I
cleans the
hated it.
pool.
Yeah, it's the thing that cleans the pool. And
I
basically, I just always thought it was gonna like swallow me up. And I used to make my dad and my brother, they had to move it.
I can't swim, so I have not experienced this fear.
It was genuine.
I think when I was growing up, I used to see things a lot. Like as a small kid, even though it made no sense, I used to see people like just staring at me, and that always scared the shit out of me. Apparently, when I was very small, I
Yes.
used to see this in our old home. There was this construction worker on a ladder, and he wasn't there, but I used to see him like a ghost, and it was terrifying.
Oh, frick. I've
Plenty.
always kind of kept my distance from people.
I've had a lot of ghost encounters.
Well, actually, I think most of us have. Like, when you're little, you encounter it more.
I think it's what like your fears build off of, seeing stuff like that.
I was gonna say, like, the things that, like, build off of. Like, I've had an irrational fear. I know it's stupid, but I think it came from, like, the horror movie kind of aspect. Was a mirror. I hated that I could see myself in a mirror. I was always scared. I still am. That, you look at it and something's going to be in it that's not there in real life. And I don't know what I would do in that situation. So growing up, I've always covered my mirror with a blanket, or I've taken it out of the room entirely.
But I will say there is like superstition when it comes to witchcraft and that for mirrors at the doorways and that sort of thing. So maybe it's not a completely unfounded fear. I know a lot of people who cover mirrors at night.
Yeah, they're like something's going to pop up in it.
Yeah. I always used to worry about that sort of thing. My big thing is like I always thought people were watching me or following me. No matter what. Even if I was alone.
Oh,
Just always
yes.
that fear.
I also had that fear. You just that fear, like if you're someone there and you just don't see them, or you feel like you're being watched, but no one's there.
Yeah. And I didn't have like the traditional childhood fears. Like I wasn't scared of clowns. I see a lot of people scared of clowns. I was scared of the dark, but I don't think that's a strange fear. I think a lot of people have that.
I had that fear growing up as well, being scared of the dark.
Even now, I don't like being in the dark.
What's one fear that like really scared you when you're younger, that now that you're older, it's something like that could never have happened? Like you have an explanation for it now that you're older, that it wouldn't have happened?
Okay. So there was this movie. I can't remember what it was called. Let me find its name quickly. Okay, it was called Blood Lake: Attack of the Killer Lampreys. And it was about these like weird worm things with teeth. And I can't even say like this when I was young. This was when I was I was 13 when this movie came out, and I was shit scared of it. Because these little, like, worm things with teeth, they're like water creatures, like eels, would dig out of the
Like
ponds and the
leeches.
pool, and they would come out of people's toilets in the horror movie and eat them. And I always used to be so scared of the idea, because my bedroom was nowhere near the bathroom, by the way. But my bedroom
And
was, I could hear the water pipes at night sometimes. And I always used to think, what if something's in that? What if something's going to burst out of my wall and eat me? And that's what used to scare me so much.
I think TV gave me the fear of bugs like worms and stuff like that going into my eyes and ears. So even with mosquitoes, when I sleep, I always put hair over my ears growing up now, even now, because I'm so scared of bugs going in my eyes or my ears from games and movies.
You see, I would make your fear worse because I know people who have had something like that happen to them.
Exactly. I've seen someone when I was like on a school tour when I was like in primary school. They got a bug in their eye while they were swimming, and I remember walking past them going, and I didn't go in the pool after that.
Be terrified of it.
I think the one fear I've had since I was little, it still pops in my mind, and I know for a fact other girls have had the same fear because I've talked about it to other girls, and they have also said like that is a fear that they had growing up was so I think like the Virgin Mary kind of started it. You know, she just popped one day, she was pregnant, and when you're younger, you didn't really know how babies were born. So I
Yes.
used to grow up praying and praying that I wouldn't fall pregnant because I was so scared that one day I would just, you're pregnant.
Just magically get that way.
Yes, and you cannot understand how terrifying it was. Like growing up, I thought like I was so worried when I was younger because I didn't know. You don't know how it's done. You don't know that kind of stuff, and you wouldn't want to know that kind of stuff. But you just sit there scared out of your mind that you're just gonna pop and be pregnant, and you don't want this. You don't want this child. You don't want to be pregnant. You're a kid.
Exactly. See, I never had that fear.
Yeah, because where's it gonna come out of your asshole or your other hole?
I wouldn't have said it like that. Jeez.
Okay, it comes out. Well, it's just that fear. Like something's gonna grow in you, and then it's gotta come out. And now you're responsible for that laugh.
Too much work.
Yeah, I
That's the
just grew
real
up
fear.
being petrified. I was so scared that just one day I'd pop and I'd be pregnant. Like that was such a big fear for me growing up. To sit there praying you wouldn't be pregnant, and then I grow up now, and now I know there's more to it. So now I know it's a stupid fear, but like for a girl to miss their period, I'm sitting there like, no, it can't happen.
Yeah. I understand that.
So, but that fear still pops in my head, even though I know it's not true. It's just kind of gotten ingrained in me.
I think a lot of people had fears that were quite strange growing up. Even something like that isn't like the biggest unbelievable fear, you know?
It was a life-changing fear for me.
But you've gotten over it.
I've gotten over it, but like, I mean, I'm a freaking virgin. I know for a fact there was no way a baby could be made.
You can't magically have no
Sure, I'm
no
not a lizard.
godly conception here.
Sure, so like nothing can happen. But like if my period's late or something, I sit there like, and then I panic, and then it's like, but you didn't do anything. It's like, yeah, I didn't do anything, but I'm still feel panicked.
You still worry. Just in case. What if you forgot?
Exactly. I know for a fact I have never done that stuff, but it still sits there as a fear.
Yeah. Like I'm sure there's other people who have that fear as well, though.
I know that other girls have grown up with that fear because, like I say, I've talked to other girls and they've also said that was a fear of theirs. But yeah, I don't know for every girl, but I know it was like pretty scary for me.
Yeah, that's fair. But I don't have any other like big fears.
Any other fears I had was
Yeah,
like, getting your head stuck in between bars because I had that happen once.
that just sounds funny.
Yeah, I think I got my head stuck in like a gate when I was little.
Mm.
Yeah, it's not nice.
I'm glad I've never had that happen to me. I could be proud
You're not a
of not
curious
being.
enough child.
I was not in a cartoonishly silly situation.
Think of a lot of fears because, like, some are just, fears that have come as you've gotten older, or most of them have kind of been debunked to the point that your mind is like, that's not a fear.
Well, yeah, that's the thing.
So I gotta say, like, what we've mentioned so far is like the only fears that have really lingered or were like big ones for me when I was younger. Oh, I know one fear everyone has is when like your mom would just be like, "Oh, I just need to go get back one thing. Just stay here by the till by yourself," and then the person starts, scanning things real quick.
That was always the worst because, like, okay, fuck, I can't pay for this. I'm a child.
Exactly, and like you're stuck there. They scan that shit so quick when it happens, and they're probably scanning it actually slow, but for you they're going so fast. And then when they're done, you just sit there like a staring match. And then you look at the floor, you look around, and you just keep looking around, and you see the line building, and then you just start panicking.
It's true though.
So scary.
Thank you everybody for watching. This has been our video on weird fears. If you had any weird fears as a child, please let us know in the comments. Maybe we could do a sequel where we go through them and discuss your fears. Maybe they're fair, maybe they're insane, but you'll have to see.
They're interesting,
And
actually.
I guess we'll see you all in the next one. Bye.
Bye.